Does anybody have a particular question? So we can apply this to an example going on to a challenging situation you are facing in daily life. Yes.
I do. It's not necessarily so much of a challenge. It's kind of how would this relate to the situation? For instance, my son has been in violin for about 10 years, since he was 4. Now he's 14. Now the violin is not exciting to him anymore. The issue was being seen with the violin.
You want to have conversations with him about, because once a child is 6 years old and older, that's the time to start engaging in real conversations about how to live and how to deal with stuff. So helping a child from now below 6, you don't do that, and maybe we'll get into that a little bit. But from 6 years old on, you can have a conversation about, well, let's look at what it really means that you are so concerned with how these people are going to judge you. Do you really feel good about yourself, or do you feel like maybe you're not being as courageous as you want to be by not actually just doing your thing and letting people who can't handle what you do, letting them go so you can draw to you people that are more aligned with who you really are instead of trying to prove yourself and pretend you're something you're not. It's amazing. You know, I do motivational classes for young people, and it's amazing how receptive they are to that wisdom. When they start to understand what cool really means, it means integrity, it means standing up for who you are, it means not putting on a fake front in order to win approval. When they start getting that message, when they hear that message, they can start to dig in it, it can start to change them. Yes?
We're in the middle of an activity, dinner, breakfast, outing, and he will scream at the top of his lungs. He will either just scream or just whatever he's doing, he'll scream it out in a very loud voice.
In a public setting?
Yes, in a public setting.
If a child is yelling at the top of his lungs in a public setting, I would immediately, but calmly, compassionately, and in no way treating him like he's doing something wrong. Because at 3 years old, he's literally doing the best he can. And when the way you relate to him, right, if you teach him that what he's doing is wrong, it will make him hostile. It will make him confused, and he'll make him angry and more emotional and more out of control. So you might worry, well, how do I teach a child to not scream in a public setting? It's very simple. You calmly, lovingly take him out of that setting so that based on the law of repetition, he's not getting in the habit of overstepping his appropriate boundaries in a public setting. And you simply take him out, not as a punishment, not in any kind of an angry or chastising mode. You realize that in this environment, he's not doing well. I need to take him out of this environment, maybe give him a chance to run around a little bit, get it out of his system. And he may not be at an age or stage of development where those particular settings are appropriate for him. You don't want to continue to put a child in a situation where the child is destined to fail, where he's going to experience failure over and over and over again, where he's going to be consistently letting you down and behaving improperly. If he can't handle that setting appropriately, when you do the best you can to keep it under control, then you need to take him out of that setting so he's not making that kind of a ruckus. And so little by little, what happens is as you relate to him more compassionately and more considerate of his feelings, before you respond, you're always very considerate of how he feels, he will then gradually become more considerate of how other people feel.